Okay, troops, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan, and I'm a former Royal Marines Commando from the United Kingdom. And today we're going to be reacting to 5 key differences between Delta Force and SEAL Team 6. It's going to come in quite handy for myself, gives me a little bit more information on the differences between Delta Force and SEAL Team 6. But before we get into it, guys, if you don't mind hitting that like button, smashing that subscribe. We are very, very close to 200,000 subscribers, so if you want to help me out, then please press that subscribe button, guys. But if you know any of these key differences, or if you think there's any more differences between Delta Force and SEAL Team 6, drop a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you agree with these differences? Are they actually quite correct and rather fitting? Let me know, guys. But let's just get straight into it.
Hello everyone, today we'll show you 5 key differences between Delta Force and SEAL Team 6. SEAL Team 6, officially known as United States Naval Special Warfare Development Group, and Delta Force, officially known as 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta, are the most highly trained elite forces in the U.S. military. Both are special missions units under the control of the secretive Joint Special Operations Command. They perform various clandestine...
I do enjoy it when the Americans say the secretive, or they mention secretive or classified, because it's to me, to the British person, it's not classified at all. All right, it might be classified in its nature, but the actual output of it being classified is. Everyone knows about them for a start. Everyone has loads of information on them. There's loads of films and movies made on these guys. I get it. It's secretive to a degree on a government level for, being affiliated with these guys in a war zone wherever. They can only account for them so much, but in terms of actually being secret, there's a lot of information out there now, guys, on these individuals, like a lot of information. So secretive, I think that's mainly just the movie script. Okay,
and highly classified missions around the world. Each unit can equally perform various types of operations, but their primary mission is counterterrorism. So what's the difference between the two? Delta Force recently took out ISIS bad guy Abu Sayyaf in Syria. DevGru took out Al-Qaeda bad guy Osama bin Laden a few years ago. Same, right? Wrong. WATM spoke with former DevGru operator Craig Sawyer, as well as a former Delta operator who asked to remain anonymous to uncover 5 key differences between the two elite forces.
See, that kind of proves my point. He has to remain anonymous, but he's going to reveal the 5 key differences anyway. I mean, my guess would be the first major thing is one is predominantly Army, and one is predominantly, recruited from the Navy. But other than that, that's pretty much all I've got.
Number 1.
Selection. Delta Force is an Army outfit that primarily selects candidates from within their own special forces and infantry units.
Yeah.
However, they will also select candidates from all branches of service, including the National Guard and Coast Guard. SEAL Team 6.
See, the National Guard and Coast Guard do a great job for their specific defined role, but would they be Special Forces material for the training that they go through? I think they'd probably struggle a lot more than the others, just because of what they haven't been, what they haven't been subject to. It's relatively easy in comparison.
6 selects candidates exclusively from the Navy SEAL Team community. If a candidate does not pass the grueling selection process, they will still remain a part of the elite SEAL teams. It's a matter of can candidates quickly process what they're taught and keep up, Sawyer says.
That's the thing. It's quite interesting for me. You can be part of a SEAL team like 1, 2, 3, 8, whatever they're called. You know, the different SEAL teams. Try out for SEAL Team 6, fail, and then still be part of an elite SEAL team. Now, if you failed SEAL Team 6, do you think you would feel inferior of others who have passed, and maybe would you feel a little bit embarrassed to do your job anyway? Because, you know, these guys are the tippity top anyway, so having failed something like SEAL Team 6, I would feel quite bad about that. It's a bit like in the Royal Marines, you have the mountain leaders who are effectively a brigade asset for the Arctic and mountain warfare side of things. Okay, so basically brigade reconnaissance to a very, very high level. I never went for that, but if I did and if I failed, I would kind of feel a little bit worthless as a Marine going back to my original unit, okay? Because that's the cream of the crop for the Marines, and it must be a bad feeling having failed that. But likewise, on the other side, it must feel tremendous having passed the hardest course that your team, that your group, your organization has to offer, you know?
Number 2.
Training. Both units have the most sophisticated equipment and are highly trained in close quarters combat, hostage rescue, high-value target extraction, and other specialized operations. The difference is the extensive training DevGru operators have in specialized maritime operations given their naval heritage. Each unit has strengths and weaknesses.
Whoa, hang on a minute. What did this dude do there? He's definitely not a SEAL. Let's look at this little sidestep.
Each unit has strengths and weaknesses.
Right, okay, guys. I'm not up for taking the piss out of anyone, but let's have another look at that. That was horrendous.
Each unit has strengths and weaknesses. Neither is
don't clear a room that way.
better or worse according to our Delta operator source.
Number 3.
Culture.
Yeah, culture's a big one.
Delta Force operators can be vastly diversified in their training background since they can come from various units across different military branches, including DevGru.
I think that's a good thing because it gives you that diverse attitude towards whatever it is you're doing. You can see things with a different perspective based on your individual experiences, which will be vast. Granted that they're recruiting from a wider area. Now, SEAL Team 6, its culture will probably be more of what you expect in the SEALs, more defined with its isms due to the fact that everyone is a SEAL before they get there.
Operators will even be awarded
both have the pros and the cons, I would say.
medals of their respective branch of service while serving with the Army unit. No matter what your background is, everyone starts from zero so that everyone is on the same page, says our former Delta operator. DevGru operators come from the SEAL community, and while training is intensified and more competitive, they all retain their roots in familiar SEAL training and culture. Candidates have proven themselves within the SEAL teams, Sawyer says. It's a matter of learning new equipment, tactics, and rules of engagement.
Number 4.
Missions. Generally speaking, both units are equally capable of executing all specialized missions that JSOC is tasked with. Again, because of DevGrew's extensive training and specialized maritime operations, they are more likely to receive missions like the rescue of Captain Phillips at sea. Delta's known and successful missions include finding Saddam Hussein and tracking down Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. These are two groups of the most elite operators the military can provide, said Sawyer.
Number 5.
Yeah, the missions is something that'll probably be... I mean, America's got the choice to be able to put these individuals in different places at different times due to the nature of having a massive spending budget and having a lot more individuals part of the teams, okay? These entities are quite big in comparison to the ones that we're talking about in the United Kingdom, you know? We're talking about merely hundreds of individuals to a specialized nature in the British military compared to thousands and thousands and thousands in the United States. Okay, the numbers are just different, so you've got that option to be able to utilize individual groups more effectively in different areas, whereas the SAS, for instance, would they potentially be able to storm a compound just like we've talked about there? Absolutely. Would they be able to do something via the maritime by maritime capabilities? Of course they would. They'd be able to do that. We have got the SBS, but would the SAS be able to do that as well? Certainly would. These guys probably do in many circumstances as well, because quite frankly, there's just not that many of us, okay? Just not that many of them in terms of the numbers. So I think America has got that flexibility to use you guys more effectively on task, whereas ours, we sometimes probably have to just make do with what we've got.
Media exposure. Members of both units are known as quiet professionals and are notorious for being massively secretive.
From my perspective, I would say not as much as probably what Americans kind of would gauge. I think you guys would gauge that secrecy different. If we're talking about in comparison to, for instance, British Special Forces, I would say the British Special Forces are probably more secretive in nature. There's not really that much on them. There's not really many movies or TV shows or anything done on them. Yes, we've got that daft show that Ant Middleton does, SES Who Dares Wins. He wasn't even in the SES for starters. He was in the SBS. Still fantastic, but trust me, guys, that's nothing like Special Forces Selection. It's just a stupid show that everyone likes to watch because it's, you know, it's for viewing pleasure, really. It's nothing to do with the military. These individuals, most of them wouldn't even pass a basic military course. So I would say, from Americans' perspective, yeah, they're quiet professionals and not massively out into the public limelight, so to speak. But from my perspective over here, there's a lot of movies about you guys. There's a lot of people hiding behind other identities, giving little bits of information. Now, I would say, actually, from my perspective, it's less secretive than what you would think. But that's just my opinion, troops. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.
Unfortunately, with today's social media, 24-hour news coverage, and leaks within the government, it can be difficult to keep out of the media no matter what steps are taken to ensure secrecy. While both units carry out high-profile missions, SEAL Team 6 has gained much more notoriety and largely unwanted exposure in the media in recent years, thanks to government leaks and Hollywood blockbuster films such as Zero Dark 30. We are very strict with our quiet professionalism. If someone talks, you will probably be blacklisted, says our former Delta operator.
Nice. Ooh. That's a lot of firepower troops. Like, a lot. These things are absolutely destroying whatever in front of them. Such damage from such a small craft, so to speak. Look at that. .762 GPMG. Or your equivalent, I should say. That's a lot of firepower. I mean, the thing to remember with these guys is there's a lot more money and budget involved for them to do a lot more wide and varied things. So it's about assurance as well. You've got to be trained to that standard to be able to do the job right. Collectively, you've got a lot more budget to do better things, better kit and equipment. There's just a lot more to it. So I would say the main differences are the obvious ones: the culture. I wouldn't necessarily say missions. I think if need be, they'd be interoperable to be able to do both. But culture's a big one. It's just a different beast. Simple as that. It's just a different beast, guys. But there's no point in watching the rest of that. I think we get the points. But if you've got any more differences that you'd like to add from an American perspective, or if you're outside of the United States, just your perspective anyway, what do you think some of the key differences are between Delta Force and SEAL Team 6? I've already mentioned mine. What do you think, troops? Let me know in the comments. But thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time, guys. Peace.